Issue number 39 of IDW Sonic the Hedgehog continues on with the mad testing that Sonic, Amy, and Tails have found themselves in what can only be described as a parallel virtual dimension, where they're trapped testing out all of Eggman's newest and most insane badniks and bad bosses, with Tangle and Bell being the only ones who have infiltrated the base and have any chance of potentially getting our heroes out. Will they manage to get Sonic and the gang out in time? Or will this be game over? As we see Orbot and Cubot continue to make these really wild, mismatched badniks, Tangle manages to capture them with a little bit of misdirection. Meanwhile, Sonic, Tails, and Amy find themselves smoked out of their hiding spot, only for gravity to suddenly shift for all of them, including the Badniks, sending them plummeting towards the sky. Which, yeah, I've had nightmares about stuff like that. No bueno, no bueno. But whereas Sonic kind of tries to get Tails to get a reading on where the badniks are coming from since they're all teleported in, very much like the games, which is actually pretty cool. He just can't get any kind of lock on it. But Sonic comes to the realization that Eggman seems to really want to send them towards worse and worse danger. He wouldn't kill them outright, so he figures might as well go with the flow, and hopefully they'll be sent to where Eggman actually wants them, hopefully solid ground. And that just so happens, and they find themselves face to face with a weird variation on the Egg Viper, an electrically charged one. And they team up on this badnik in order to take it down fully, with Sonic getting in the usual hits but unfortunately electrocuted in the process. But with an well-timed team attack with Tails, try saying that 3 times fast, they managed to hit its weak point for maximum damage, making that badnik go kersplooey. And even Eggman even tries to just blow it up while Sonic is a little too close in order to take him out. Or at least I think that's what happened. But the battle isn't over just yet, as Eggman sends out 3 more variations of the Egg Viper. One for water, one for fire, and one for wind. Man, he's trying to create the avatar of Boss Max, basically. So, he feels that this will be a little bit more of a fair fight. And considering that each of these characters can take down a Boss Max themselves, you would think so, but this is the comics. It's not always that easy. Also, taking on 3 bosses at once? Yeah, not fun. But Amy manages to KO the Fire Mech all on her own, while also kind of getting caught on fire. Like, this girl is hot, literally. But they still have the Water Viper to deal with as well, who almost blasts them right off into the oblivion of the platform, only to be saved by Sonic. So they still have to deal with that, as well as the Wind Mech, who dries them off something fierce. So they're having a tough time dealing with that. Meanwhile, Tangle tries her best to use a little bit of reverse psychology to get Orbot and Cubot to spill the beans on how to get Sonic and the gang out of that virtual prison. But Orbot manages to keep Cubot from spilling his nuts and bolts for the most part, only for it to be revealed that Belle has managed to hack into their system, which clues in Orbot and Cubot that she might be of Eggman's creation, but there's something different about her. Again, very much hinting towards the thought that she is in fact a creation of when Eggman had lost his memories and had become the Tinkerer for a little bit, for a hot minute there. So she has managed to hack into Eggman's system or access them, and has managed to figure out that that she might be able to narrow down the doorways in order to actually get access to Sonic, Tails, and Amy, but it's going to take a little bit of a while. So Tangle decides to use process of elimination and go with whatever worries Orbot and Cubot the most, managing to psych them out a little bit. So Tangle's way of doing things is reckless and terrible, but at the same time, it's about their best bet, as she figures that going through the portal that they're most worried about her going through is her best bet at getting towards our heroes. But Belle warns against this because she really doesn't know what'll happen. Her molecules could be scrambled, she could end up in the middle of the ocean, she could end up in Jersey. I'm sorry to anyone living in Jersey. I've never been to Jersey. I don't know how it is. But Tangle says it's worth the risk. It's what a hero's got to do, which is incredibly bad advice. No, do not jump into things without a plan. Yes, sometimes risks are worth taking, but if there's a chance of Belle figuring something better out, I would kind of hope to go with it. But at the same time, Sonic, Tails, and Amy are really between a rock and a hard place. Or three robots. So it's not looking great. So maybe this is the best option as Tangle wraps her tails around a post in order to make it so that she has a tether back to safety, and she goes rushing in headlong into the great beyond, thus ending our issue. Now this issue, it's a lot of setup. Nothing really impactful happened. That's kind of been the thing about this whole storyline is you're much more interested in learning a little bit more about Belle than anything else. Everything going on with Sonic, Tails, and Amy is fascinating, but now that we know it's mostly just a testing ground for Eggman and his robots, it's kind of like, okay, well, there's nothing really that impactful or important there, so you can just kind of keep the story moving for the most. That isn't to say this is terrible. No, it's actually pretty good. It's just that nothing overly important is happening here. But hopefully next issue the pacing will pick up a little bit and we'll actually get a little bit more going on in terms of the plot. But tell me what you thought in the comment section below. Did you find this deeply interested, or do you feel this was more of a bridging issue to get from one part of the story to the next? I'm interested to hear from you, and until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din. Like, comment, subscribe, bell, all that YouTube stuff, or don't. I ain't your daddy. And until next time, later.